Hi, Rita here. Welcome back, my YouTube homies. How y'all doing? I'm doing great, and hopefully you are too. Just enjoying the last rays of summer. Yeah, it won't be long before the snow is here. But anyway, I just wanted to talk to you guys today about how to choose an acrylic brush and the best acrylic brush for beginners. Yes, let me start off by saying that our brushes are our #1 tool when we are working with acrylic, when we're doing acrylic nails. So it's important that we have an awesome acrylic brush, not a so-so brush, not a good brush. You know, an awesome brush is what we need, because working with acrylic is already hard enough as it is. So you don't want to make it harder. We don't want to make it harder by having the wrong acrylic brush. So yeah, if you have a bad acrylic brush, you're going to make bad acrylic nails. That's just all there is to it. So I want to give you some pointers today on how to choose a great acrylic brush. So #1, the first thing is you have to use an acrylic brush. Okay, you can't use a makeup brush, a gel brush, an artist paint brush that you get from Michael's or any of these craft stores. Not even a sculpting brush. You know, a sculpting brush is when you're actually building the whole nail. You know, those brushes are different than when you're applying, you know, acrylic over a tip. So you need to make sure that you're using an acrylic brush. Got it? Good. #2, what kind of brush should you use? You should be using a Kolinsky Sable hair brush. Kolinsky Sable hair brush. These brushes are the best when it comes to working with the acrylic, because it allows you to push, pat, pull, move that acrylic where you need it to go. It's just an awesome brush to be able to work the acrylic, and that is what you should be using. Now, there are a lot of people selling fake Kolinsky brushes, and you know, the way that you can tell if you're getting a real Kolinsky is that real Kolinskys are going to have dark hairs at the tip. Dark hairs at the tip, and I'm going to show you a close-up of what I'm talking about. But yeah, that's a really good way to tell if you are getting a Kolinsky Kolinsky Sable hair brush. Okay, now I'm looking down at my notes so I can make sure I get all the points. Okay, now the shape of the brush I suggest for a beginner is a round. Some people say a flat is good for a beginner. I say round because round is going to allow you to pick up nice acrylic balls that a beginner needs to be able to pick up so they can start getting used to working with the acrylic. When you have a flat brush is not going to, #1, allow you to make nice balls. It's not going to be able to make balls because it's a flat brush. And it doesn't pick up a lot of liquid, enough liquid to be able to form, in my opinion, enough of a ball or product placement for you to put on the nail. Doesn't allow you to pick up enough product to place on the nail. So I like flats when I'm doing fills, because you're just working pretty much in the cuticle area. But no, for a beginner, a round should do you good. Okay, now the size brush. Brushes come in increments of 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. Okay, for a beginner, I suggest you start off with an 8 or 10. 12 will be the max. Okay, I know you see these nail techs on YouTube and what have you with these big brushes like this. You know, I thought I needed this, but it takes a lot of practice and skill to be able to use a brush like this and still apply good acrylic nails. You can get there, you can make that a goal, but starting off, no. 8, 10, 12 at the max. And at school they gave us these big 16 size 16 brushes, and I'm like, even I knew, like, I'm like, this is too big. I need something small. They were like, no, you'll be alright. You'll be alright. No, I was not. I was not alright at all. So I went down to a 12, and that worked out good for me to start off with. So yeah. Alright. Now the shape. Brushes come in round, flat, or oval. Round, flat, or oval. And alright, sorry, I covered that already. We did size. Now, where to buy a good brush? Let's start by saying where you shouldn't buy your brush. I know we all have went to Sally's and got brushes, but don't go there no more. you know, buy your brushes online, eBay, Amazon. I'm going to have a link in the description box on some good brushes that I think are awesome. You can buy from nail supply stores online. Just make sure that you are asking or know if they're Kolinskys or not. Read the reviews if they have any, because if 50 people are saying their brush hair is broke, you know, that it's a pretty good quality brush, then you can go ahead and safely purchase that brush, knowing that you're going to get a good solid brush. Now, if you go through like professional brands or try to, if you don't have a license, you're not going to be able to get it directly from like NSI or Creative Young Nails or whatever. No, but it doesn't matter, because like I said, you can get great brushes without having a license, and I have the description in the box. Okay, so let's see. Now let's talk about cost. I used to think if I spent some money like $40–50 on a brush, I would get a great brush. I've spent the most I think was $35 on a brush, and it just did not work well for me. You know, it does not matter. People price their brushes, as with anything, according to what they want to price it. So you really can't go by cost when looking for a brush. I've had brushes that were like under $20 that worked well. The brushes in the description box are not expensive. I think they're about in the $20 range. You know, and they're good brushes, so you can't go by that. But I will say that the bigger the brush, the more you're going to pay for it. But as far as the quality of the brush and the cost, you know, I really haven't seen that to be the truth. Yeah, if you pay a little bit more and you go through the professional nail supply companies, you know, you can pretty much probably say you're going to get a good brush, but that's not to say that they haven't inflated their prices. I'm just saying. So you can't even go by the cost. You have to go by the other things that I've talked about in this video. So those are my 5 tips on how to choose a good brush and the best brush for a beginner. Let's recap. Number 1, you need to be making sure you're using an acrylic brush. Number 2, it needs to be made of Kolinsky Sable hair. For a beginner, round brush, size 8, 10, 12 at the max. And don't buy your brush locally. You know, I didn't say this before, but you know, I live in the hood. The Vietnamese shops with the hair, sell the wigs and the hair and all the wig and stuff. They sell nail products. Don't buy from there. Don't buy from CVS, Rite Aid, Walgreens. No kits. None of that. None of that. Just don't buy nothing locally, because it's not for the professional. You know, if you're trying to take this seriously, you got to be purchasing where the professionals purchase their stuff. Okay, so that concludes my tips. I'm going to go ahead now and show you some of my brushes so you'll get a visual idea of the kind of brushes, and so I can just give you some examples of what I talked about in this video. Okay, so here are your 3 brush shapes. You have your flat square brush. You have the round brush. See how the barrel is rounded? So the hairs are rounded, shaped round. And then you have your oval brush. Okay, those are your 3 brush shapes. Okay, so this is my current brush crush. I noticed that the better brushes are going to come in like this tube to protect the hairs. This is a size 14, Kolinsky Sable. Description will be in the box. Okay, and as you can see on this brush, you see those dark hairs on the flags right here? That's what I'm talking about. Kolinsky Sable. It just, you know, it will hold its shape without a problem. You work on it, you take care of it, they do last a long time. Now, this is not a Kolinsky. It looked like this one in the beginning. See this right here? See how shabby that's looking? See what I'm saying? This is not a good brush at all. This is an oval, and there's no dark on the tip at all. This is how they look. Scruffy. Even if I, you know, prep this and try to put the hairs back together, nah, it will not come together back into a point like that. That's what I'm talking about, just by pressing that. It should, if it's a real Kolinsky. I should be able to press that point. But see, you got them hairs over here on the side. That's what happens with these cheap brushes after a while. Okay. These are some of the other brushes I've used. Look at that. This is actually, these blue ones, I paid $25 a piece for. But this were paint brushes, acrylic paint brushes that I thought I could use for acrylic nails. No. These are some of the ones that I bought from our beauty supply Vietnamese stores. Wood handle, cheap. $2 I think I paid. Flat. No good. Same thing. Well, this one is the Sally one. This one says Pure Red Sable. Don't say Kolinsky though. So, cause it's not. At least they ain't lie. Look at it. Same thing. Bushiness. Look like somebody been cutting on this. I ain't been cutting on it. Just fake brushes. Look at this one. This is another Sally's Beauty Secrets. This one is not as bad as far as wear and tear, but still, it's not the same. It's not. You could just when you start working with the brushes, you'll be able to tell by the feel and the look and how it moves. See how pliable that is and flush. I love this brush because it makes me feel like I have something heavy in my hand. I have big man hands, so I need to feel like I'm actually holding something. I love the fact that it has a lot of bristles, so when you pattern that acrylic, it's going to move that acrylic. Whereas when you working with these brushes right here, these cheaper brushes, it's not going to be able to move nothing, move that acrylic at all. It's not going to move that acrylic. So these are just some of the brushes that I've gone through. This is just a few of the brushes. I've thrown away brushes. I've been doing this since, well, been licensed since 2004. And I've been buying brushes and I just threw them away. Here's one I bought in Atlanta when I was visiting at a nail supply store. You see, I've used it a lot. Look, this one said Pedal Kolinsky. And it said it was, you know, Kolinsky. It's not no Kolinsky. See what I'm saying about these people lying? This is not a Kolinsky. I didn't know that at the time because I didn't know what to look for. I didn't know nothing about no brushes. But you can just, it's just a different feel and look. It's just a different quality. And as you start to work with, once you get a real Kolinsky, then you'll be able to compare it to these other ones. And no, nah, not happening. See, it just go like that. It's like real. This is a real thing. Look how it goes like this and like that. Look how this going. It ain't going nowhere. It's kind of like a weave. You know, there's some good weaves out there now that look like the real thing, but ain't nothing gonna move like your real hair. Like real hair. Ain't nothing gonna act and move like the real stuff. Now, I like weave. I'm just giving you an example. See, this is the real. See how that? This brush just tossing his hair from side to side like a woman. Flossing, you know? This one, that weave ain't going nowhere. It's just stiff. Fake. So, now I'm just going overboard, but you understand what I'm saying. Stick with these guidelines, you guys, and, you know, you'll pretty much, you won't go through a whole bunch of rigmarole like I did to find a good brush with these guidelines. And after a while, it starts to become a habit of buying brushes just to see how they perform. Yeah. So I think I've covered everything. So until next time, y'all, take care.